everyone, Stephen Harrold here, and welcome to the channel. I'm discussing the NHL Playoffs for you guys in a very blunt way. The NHL Playoffs are upon us now. 16 teams have entered. Only one can win Lord Stanley's Cup. We start with the first round, and of course, we have how many teams facing each other? We have 8 series altogether, and we're going to take a review on which series are going on and who is my prediction for all the winners of these series and the game lengths themselves. Now, this is not going to be a very typical one because a lot of the times we're going to have a lot of teams that, you know, maybe 1 or 2 family members are in playoffs. This is the first time in my family's history where all of us have made the playoffs. We're all against each other. So that's going to be a very interesting topic. So without further ado, let's get into the prediction of each series in the first round of the 2026 Stanley Cup Playoffs. We're going to kick things off in the West with the President's Trophy winning Colorado Avalanche taking on the LA Kings. Yes, I finally got my fucking wish. It is not going to be an Edmonton, LA Part 5 in the first round of the fucking playoffs. Thank God. Now, of course, Colorado dominated this whole entire year. At the beginning of the season, they only had lost like 2 games in regulation, and, you know, they kind of slumped a little bit, but they still held a grasp on the National Hockey League. The LA Kings, on the other hand, are, you know, one of the wild card teams. They started to slump and slip during the whole entire season, but they managed to squeak out enough wins to even make it to the playoffs. But of course, they're up against the Colorado Avalanche in the first round. Now, what do I personally think of this first round series? I think it's going to be a fucking blowout. The LA Kings, yeah, they made it to the first round again, but they're going to be eliminated in the first round again. This time, it's most likely going to be in 4 games. So that's why I suggest all of you just don't really watch this series that much. It's not going to be that entertaining. But I do predict that the Colorado Avalanche is going to advance to the second round by eliminating the LA Kings in 4 games. A complete sweep. Next series we have is the matchup between the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild. Now, of course, these are, you know, not the first time these two have faced each other in the playoffs history, but, you know, it's interesting to see that Minnesota kind of has an upper edge now this time. They're not like the same team that they were before where Dallas could just push them around. And of course, Dallas, you know, they're trying to get back to the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 2020. And they've made it to the Western Conference Finals 3 years in a row. And it's needless to say that they are trying to get to the Stanley Cup Finals, whether it's against any team in the first round that they can easily dispatch or someone hard. Now, of course, Dallas going up against Minnesota, this is not the same Minnesota team. They acquired Quinn Hughes in the whole entire trade deadline. And of course, as we all know, that Minnesota started winning games. They're one of the top 3 teams in the Central Division. Now, it's not going to be just like any other series for Dallas when it comes to Minnesota. This is a Minnesota team who is tired of losing in the first round. They're tired of being good, but not good enough. So what do I personally think of this series leading into it? I honestly think Minnesota could surprise anyone and actually dispatch the Dallas Stars. But in amount of games, it's going to be a little bit tough with this series. But if I have to really dumb it down for myself, I think that the Minnesota Wild are actually going to eliminate the Dallas Stars and advance to the second round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs in 6 games. Next series we have in the Western Conference is the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Utah Mammoth. Now, Vegas, of course, no introduction to this fucking team because they like to make the playoffs all the fucking time. One of the top teams in the Pacific Division, of course. But they're against the Utah Mammoth. Now, of course, Utah finally got their new name, their new logo, and now making it to the playoffs, even if it's a wild card, for their second year in their franchise's history. This is already a better outcome for this franchise than it was with Arizona. Like, does anyone even miss Arizona anymore? I fucking sure don't. When it comes to Vegas, you know, they held on to quite the lead in the Pacific Division, of course, with the other 2 teams that I'll be getting to pretty soon here. But Utah seemed to surprise everyone this year. And when it comes to Vegas and facing Utah, they think they're probably just going to dismantle this team easily. I don't think that's going to be the case. Now, I know a lot of people on this channel have noticed that I never really pick Vegas to win any series because I have no fucking faith in that team. That's going to be the same case here. That's a tradition that's never going to fucking get old here. I think the Utah Mammoth are going to be able to upset the Vegas Golden Knights in 7 games to move on to the second round. And the last series in the Western Conference is going to be
Hey, this isn't your series, so shut up.
Yeah, the next series we're going to be talking about is Edmonton and Anaheim.
Backed by popular demand, the Anaheim Ducks are back in the playoffs.
Yep. This is what I mean by the family affair, guys. So, of course, you know what? You can take it away from here. Talk about your series with this team. I can just shut up. I'll just give you my input of what the series is going to be.
We're going to be playing the Edmonton Oilers.
The defending Western Conference champions.
Who gives a flying fuck who they are, because they are irrelevant. They haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1990. Whereas Anaheim, we have won it back in 2007. If anyone's going to be more relevant in this series, it's the Ducks.
Yeah. So, as you all know, the Edmonton Oilers are...
Quack!
The Oilers are back-to-back Western Conference champions, so they have a little bit of the edge. Whereas the Anaheim Ducks, they have not been in the Stanley Cup Playoffs since 2018. This is the first time they're in the playoffs after, I guess, what, a rebuild?
Yeah.
Okay, a rebuild. A rebuild that had a failed Trevor Zegras in there. But Anaheim has looked pretty good. I've been listening to him for a while talk about Coach Q, Joe Quenneville, being the answer to Anaheim's problems. Do you still feel that way?
Well, I mean, Coach Q has been doing pretty good with the Ducks. I mean, first year with the team, and I mean, we are in the playoffs, so I mean, that is something.
Mm-hmm.
I will be honest though, we aren't the most impressive looking team going into this Stanley Cup Playoffs, because offensively, yeah, we have what it takes, and we're a young team, and we're going to get better.
But the experience is the factor.
It's not just that, it's also our defense is Swiss cheese. We are pretty awful. Can Lucas Dostal save us in this series? Absolutely, but he's going to need to be lights out the entire series. And if we don't use Dostal, we need Vince Husso to do his part.
Yep. We also have the question mark with Leon Draisaitl for the Oilers right now. Is he going to be okay for this series? We don't know. But prediction time. So, now that you got the matchup that you kind of wanted. Oh, this is matchup number 1 of our family fading each other, because my sister and him, sister being an Oilers fan, and you being a Ducks fan, face each other. So, what's the outcome going to be, Justin? What do you think is going to happen?
Ducks in 7.
Ducks in 7. There's no hesitation there. I think after the 2 attempts for the Edmonton Oilers making it to the Stanley Cup Finals and losing, a lot of people think, oh, they got a chance now that Florida's out. I don't think so. I think this is the series that's going to be the stamp on McDavid's time here in Edmonton. So I think Anaheim is going to win this series in 6 games. Yeah, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. 6 games. Because I know you have a goaltending problem. Drysdale, whatever the fuck. You think he's not as good as Tristan Jarry?
I never said that.
Okay, well, I'm saying it right now. He's better than Tristan Jarry.
I already know that.
Yeah. So, he says Anaheim in 7. I say Anaheim in 6 games. Moving on to the Eastern Conference, we're going to be looking at the Metropolitan Division, where the matchup that we're going to be looking at right now is none other than the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Ottawa Senators. Now, Ottawa just squeezed in with a wild card spot, whereas the Carolina Hurricanes won the Eastern Conference. what do I personally think about this series? I think this is the series where Carolina, Carolina is a team that literally has an identity crisis. I mean, like, look at their home jersey. It doesn't match their fucking logo. Look at their away jersey. Okay, it's like the introvert stadium series jersey that they had. And then, of course, their third is what they should be fucking wearing. This team has an identity crisis. It doesn't know what the fuck it wants. And I think that's what happens when you've been bumped out of the conference finals how many fucking times like they have. Whereas the Ottawa Senators, this is their second time in the playoffs. Last year, of course, they got eliminated by the Toronto Maple Leafs in a Battle of Ontario. No surprise there. But now with them facing the Carolina Hurricanes, I know a lot of people will say that the Carolina Hurricanes have the easier edge in this matchup. I disagree. Carolina has been very inconsistent when it comes to playoffs. I mean, they haven't made it to the Stanley Cup Finals since they won it in 2006. It's now been 20 years since they even made it to a Stanley Cup Final this year. And I personally think that when it comes to the Ottawa Senators, with their grit and what they have on the roster, I think they can actually prevail. So I'm going to actually pick that the Ottawa Senators are going to eliminate the Carolina Hurricanes and advance to the second round in 6 games. The next series we have here is the Battle of Pennsylvania. The Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, this matchup is not new to everybody. I mean, these guys have fought each other many times in the playoffs. But of course, this is a different type of scenario. You have the Philadelphia Flyers who have a younger kind of core, whereas the Pittsburgh Penguins still have that Stanley Cup caliber team with Sidney Crosby, Chris Letang, Evgeny Malkin on the roster, with the addition of Stuart Skinner as goaltender, not Tristan Jarry. Is that going to be any consolation for the Pittsburgh Penguins? I don't know. The Cup experience could play a factor in this, which I honestly think it will. Philadelphia still has to get over a lot of humps to be a better team. And just because you got Trevor Zegras on the team doesn't mean much. So I do predict that the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to win the Battle of Philadelphia in 5 games and move on to the second round. Now we move on to the Atlantic Division, where we have the matchup between the Boston Bruins taking on the Atlantic Division champion Buffalo Sabres. Yes, the Sabres, after 15 years, make the playoffs. My brother James is fucking excited now. To put it lightly, we have a Buffalo Sabres team that has no playoff experience for the last 15 years. I mean, like, guys, remember, Corey Perry scored 50 goals the last time they made it to a playoff series. The last time they were in the playoffs, the Boston Bruins won the Stanley Cup. What else is there? I mean, the Sedin twins were still playing. That was the last time the Sabres even made it to the playoffs. Hell, the Stanley Cup playoff format was still 1v8. That's the last time. So, Buffalo was built differently this year. I don't know what it was. They just started winning, and then they finally had this key matchup between Tampa and Montreal to see who was going to win the Atlantic Division. And they just so happened to win the Atlantic Division. They're up against the Boston Bruins, who have the playoff pedigree to their advantage. But this is not the same Boston Bruins team that won the Stanley Cup in 2011. They don't have Marchand anymore. Bergeron retired. Pasternak, he's getting up there in age. And you have McAvoy, who can't always hold the defense properly. I mean, their goaltending is still solid. I mean, they still have Swayman, so that's good. But the problem is, what else is there for the Boston Bruins to have that could be key contributors to advancing in this round? I honestly feel like, even though Boston, yeah, they got the wild card and they have the experience there, I don't think they're any match against the Buffalo Sabres. So, here's one for you, James. I do predict that the Buffalo Sabres are going to advance to the second round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs with a series win against the Boston Bruins in 6 games. And the last series we have in the Atlantic Division and in the Eastern Conference is none other than the Montreal Canadiens taking on my beloved Tampa Bay Lightning. In the last series I was just talking about, it was a war for my brother and our father. This is a different war. This is a war that not only is another family matchup, this is a war between me and my mother. And here she comes. Here we go. Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Goodbye. Na, 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 na. Na, na, na. Goodbye. Moria. Woo!
You get. Okay.
Moria. Woo!
Yeah. This is my mom, guys. So,
Hey,
yeah.
Whoopee!
Oh, all right. This is a disaster. It's not only just a matchup between me and my mom, the Montreal Canadiens, and it's not just any Atlantic Division team. But if you guys remember, this was the 2021 Stanley Cup Final. This is a Stanley Cup Final rematch from 2021, which is the odd year. So
We're gonna win.
Yeah.
Organi.
Okay. So, Mom, so when it comes to your team this season, what were you more impressed with? Do you think that the forward line
Everybody.
is good?
Everybody. Caulfield, Suzuki, all of them. Yoo-hoo! And the coach is good too.
Yeah, Martin
We're
and St.
gonna
Louis.
win.
Martin and St. Louis.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on, Mom. Fuck. Hold on. So Caulfield, of course, being the first Canadians player to
Woo-hoo.
score 50 goals since
Woo-hoo.
what, 40
Woo-hoo.
years?
Yeah.
And then it happened to be the first player in the Bell Center for the Canadians to score
Woo-hoo.
50 goals. Whereas the Tampa Bay Lightning, you know, they still have the
They suck.
they still have the edge when it comes to playoff experience. I mean, the last 3 years in a row, ever since losing to the Colorado Avalanche in 2022 for the Stanley Cup, they have been bounced out of the first round. Once by Toronto and the other 2 years against the Florida Panthers.
Now it is going to be Montreal's turn. In 6. 6. We win. Woohoo!
So, as you guys can tell, my mom says Montreal's winning in 6. I say Tampa's winning in 7.
No,
There's no way that's happening.
No.
It's
No.
Don't you have to go to bed? Go to bed. Like, go to fucking bed. Like,
Montreal, we win! Go Habs, go!
oh boy. So that's been the predictions of the first round of the 2026 Stanley Cup Playoffs. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think the Stanley Cup Playoffs round 1's matchups are going to be. If you like the video, make sure you also hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more content. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you get notified about all the other videos coming out on the channel, especially in regards to the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. This is Stephen Harrold. I will talk to you guys later. Enjoy the playoffs. And as much as she likes to say it, go Bolts. Game 7, Bolts win.